Hey guys, my name is Joey Thomas, entrepreneur and small business educator here with 17 Hats. Now we know that social proof is powerful. I've actually made a whole video just about that subject. People love to know what others think and feel about your business. It creates a sense of security and it makes you a bit more approachable. Now with that said, it can feel a bit awkward to ask for testimonials at the end of a client relationship, but we know how important those testimonials are. If you heard me talk about websites, I talk about putting those testimonials on each and every page relevant to the information or the content that you are sharing on your website. So how do we do this with ease? How do we do this without it feeling awkward? Well, I'm going to share a few tips with you, and today's question is, how do I ask for testimonials? So hang with me just for a few minutes as we dive into this topic. And before I move on, don't forget to subscribe to the 17 Hats channel and like this page and turn on those notifications. All right, let's get started. Now, the very first tip is to ask for feedback as part of the client experience. Most of the time, we are asking for testimonials at the very, very end. Now, that's okay, but depending on the length of the client relationship, it could still feel a bit awkward to not have asked for any feedback for months at a time, and all of a sudden, you're asking for a testimonial. Now, the longer a client experience is, the longer it takes to deliver a product or a service, the more things could happen inside of that experience that could be detrimental to a positive testimonial. So what I recommend is at various stages of the client experience, it is beneficial to stop and ask for feedback. This shows the client that you care about their thoughts, and more importantly, you are clarifying your intentions that you want to serve them well. So use questionnaires to do so, if that makes sense. For me, at certain stages of the client experience, I will shoot a questionnaire using 17 Hats to get them to just give me a little feedback about what their experience was so far. Now, I highly recommend that you keep that really short. Now, you could keep it a simple rating. They can choose 1 through 5, maybe on a drop-down menu, or use some short, fill in the blank on their own, right? Where they can just write some short answers. But when you do it through the client experience, you are priming them to give feedback. You are showing them that you care about their thoughts. And if you take anything that maybe they have a suggestion or they have a way that they would like to communicate that they share with you, and you can use that to tweak the experience. Trust me when I say, when a client sees that you care enough about what they think, you will end up getting great testimonials at the end of the relationship. Okay, so the next tip, use existing comments, reviews, and feedback. Now, many people tend to go on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on different social media platforms, and they'll say something positive about their experience. They'll say, I'm excited to use this person, they're XYZ, or they might even, in the middle of just regular conversation, they might send you an email or a text message giving you some great feedback. So use that feedback, but ask them for their permission to use that feedback, right? Now, there's a difference between testimonials and reviews. Reviews are unprompted. They usually go to pages like Google or Facebook or Yelp or somewhere to leave a review. It's unprompted, and it's something that they want to do, and that could be good or bad. Now, a testimonial is typically a positive experience that they're sharing, and it's usually a little bit longer than a review would be. In most cases, it's not always the case, right? Some of my reviews have been incredibly long. A testimonial is more about the overall experience, and they are testifying on your behalf and sharing with other people what their experience was, whereas a review is giving you almost a score, right, at the end of the relationship, and that could be good or bad. So just understand the differences. But you can use quotes from existing reviews as testimonials if you forgot to ask for a testimonial at the end. Okay, next. Get the timing right. Now, this is key. I've already said that it's good to pause in the middle of a client relationship just to stop and get some quick feedback. That's important because you're planting those seeds along the way. Now, once you deliver a product or once the service is rendered, you really don't want to wait weeks or months after a service is rendered to ask for a client testimonial. You know, it's out of sight, out of mind. They're out of touch with the emotion that they had when this was done. You want to strike when the iron is hot. An easy way is to automate an email after a product is delivered or a service is rendered. Again, I use 17 Hats to do that because I can set up an automation where I click a task, where I can create a task that says deliver product or completed service, and the next thing it'll trigger is an email that goes out. And in this email, it could be an email thanking them and asking for a testimonial with a link to a questionnaire, or they can just email you back. You can choose how you want to do that. Now, this makes sure that the experience is fresh. It's fresh on their minds and they're excited to share. Okay, you definitely want to use open-ended questions. Now, when asking for a testimonial, you don't want a one-word answer. It's not going to really serve you well. And knowing what open-ended questions are, it will encourage them to share a bit more of their story and their feelings than just one-word answers. For example, here are a few questions. How has this made a difference in your life or business? So whether it's a product or a service, you can ask them that. How has this made a difference in your life or business, depending on who you're speaking to? Or what was your favorite part of this experience? Another question would be, what made you choose us or me over hundreds of other options that you had? I love that question because they start going through all of the things that make you different. Those are all questions, but the thing about these questions is they're all framed in a positive way, right? And positive, open-ended questions will encourage positive, open, and a little bit of a longer answer. So keep that in mind. Use open-ended questions. Now, you also want to make sure that you offer options. Don't just give them one way to do so. If you just send a blank email and they need to take time and remember to open up an email or reply back to you and just fill it out, they wouldn't really know where to go. Maybe other people just don't like writing or texting, right? So a good method is, at the end of it all, give them a few options. Maybe a video testimonial that they record on their own. What about an open-ended written testimonial? They could even fill out a guided questionnaire. Maybe participate in a live interview on social media. Or you can be a little bit more involved and go into their home or their space or meet them somewhere. And you can, as you deliver a product, maybe record the unboxing and you can get their live feedback. Letting them know ahead of time, though, and setting those expectations will really help if you go all out and get involved, right? Now, no matter which method you use, the good thing is you have given them options. So at the end of the day, we know testimonials are powerful. And guys, a great client experience will almost always lead to great testimonials. So make sure that if you are really needing those testimonials and you want to put those on your website and share them with other clients and put them on social media, it starts with the client experience. From the moment they interact with you at the beginning, when they send you a lead, all the way through delivery, and sometimes even after in following up. So make sure that experience is wonderful. I have another video on how to deliver a great client experience. Go ahead and look that up. Well, thank you again, guys, for hanging out with us. Hopefully that was helpful. It was simple, but I know how we can get caught up on sometimes the most simplest of things. I know that I do. So go ahead and click like on this video, subscribe to the 17 Hats channel, and use the comments to just talk to us about one of your experiences with testimonials. We'd love to chat. Thank you, and I'll talk to you again soon.